Welcome back, everybody, to our EVO 9 wagon build. In the previous episode, we installed a bolt-on turbo upgrade and an Arctec manifold and a beautiful exhaust system. And in this episode, we are hoping to get this thing running by completing the engine bay. But you guys will notice I've got my new Speed Academy hat on. We just restocked these, very limited edition. If you're looking for any type of merch, check out the link in the description below or in the top right-hand corner. So go grab one of these while quantities last. Before I get started on anything performance-oriented, check this out. I noticed the front transmission mount here is completely torn, and you can see how low it's actually sitting. It's been, I think, cracked and torn like this for a while. So I did get a replacement, and you can see this one is actually a different design and looks like it's going to be much more firm and put the gearbox and the engine back into a proper position. Like, look at the difference between the height. The old one was just like so low. So good thing I caught this, because I feel like this certainly, you know, gives you that kind of like shake and whatnot. This is a bit puzzling to me. Look how much bigger this hole is. This is the bolt that goes through here. Man, there is a ton of room. Once I put this through here, you can see it's kind of wild how much play there is, but maybe it's supposed to be like that.
That is
I mean,
odd.
I guess it has to be like that, but
maybe once you tighten it down, it kind of fixes
yeah,
it.
we'll have to make sure that there's a proper torque spec for this. And my pro tip, you can see the engine is hanging a little bit low here, obviously because it didn't have this front cross member on. But instead of fighting with it and trying to like raise the whole motor, I'm just going to use the bolts here, put these guys in place, and then tighten it up, and it should just raise the engine up. Anytime you're increasing power, you're usually adding heat, and that means you really want to do a cooling upgrade. And of course, we have turned to our favorite radiator company, Rad, with their 48mm hypercore. So certainly a bigger core than stock. The plastic end tanks are now gone. We're going all aluminum on this. And my biggest thing that I love about Rad is how perfect and spot on their fitment is. So we always, when we put these in, have no issues. You can see the fan bolted right into place, and now this is gonna drop right into here. Wow, look at this shiny brand new intercooler, full kit from Greddy. This is their Spec LS 24E intercooler with hard piping, and man, it was pretty tight, everybody. In the turbo area, the hot pipe coming off was a bit of a pain to get in, but once it went on, as you can see, everything else is a bolt-on. I haven't fully fit this up here because we still have to do some intake work to get it all to fit. This actually is meant for a 6-speed car, but as you can see, it looks like it's gonna work on the automatic, which is a good thing. And most important of all, we're just gonna get better cooling capacity with this larger core. As you can see, this is way bigger than the factory one. And again, more boost, better cooling is gonna equal more power, so that's exactly what we want here. Since I need to run the factory mass airflow system on this car because we are not going to a standalone ECU that would likely delete it, the options are somewhat slim in terms of what you can do for an intake. There are intakes on the market. However, in this scenario, as you guys saw, I do have to reuse that factory intake pipe, and therefore what I'm going to be doing is I've got a vibrant adapter here that bolts on a air filter from Vibrant. This is a 4-inch, so it's actually quite large, which is pretty good. It's going to give us good airflow, and then that's going to go on there, and you can see now we do have an open air element, which is going to give us a bunch of good sound, and then this will go on to here as such. But man, there we go. So that's what it's gonna look like. I do, however, feel, you know what, like, let me show you what I've got. This is an HKS intake for an EVO 789. However, it being for a manual car, we had issues where it would hit the dipstick here for the automatic transmission, but I desperately do wanna make it work. I'm not sure if it's going to give us any performance, although you can see like the inside here, this is a pretty big upgrade in terms of airflow, but I think the noise is the whooshing that you'll get, the resonance that will carry through into the filter and all that is going to be quite louder than the factory one. So I think if we were able to make a little bit of a concession and move this dipstick a little bit, we might actually be able to get it to work here. So who knows, let's try this. If I get it to work, great. If not, we'll go back to this the factory guy here, which I think it's already so tight with the fan and everything in here. So you can see, like, look at the difference between that and that. I think we'll get better flow for sure, but the noise itself will be tremendous. I'm pulling the actual dipstick out here for a second just to get it out of the way. We'll see if we can relocate it. And now with that, this intake fits up pretty much perfect. You'll see right there. And then this will live over here. So let's get all this back together here and let's see if I can find a spot for relocating that dipstick. You can see I have relocated the dipstick over here, which looks like it's gonna clear, and then we can get the mass airflow sensor on right here. And I think this is gonna work, guys, which is going to be excellent. You can see there we are. So that isn't all that bad. I think we can still access the dipstick, you can see here, and it should still clear the battery, the piping here and everything. So looks like we've got ourselves a victory, yeah.
PT, should we have powder coated that piping?
Oh, don't even get me started.
You know, we got to powder coat the intercooler. You know, where's the OCD?
You know, this is a quick and easy. This is a simple build, but yes, it would be nice to like replace all the couplers with black couplers. Go get all of this stuff powder coated black, so it would have that like OEM plus touch, but not on this build. We're keeping it easy and simple.
Can we talk about the valve cover, PT? Can we talk about that?
We're not touching the valve cover. Do not show. Do not show the valve cover. Valve covers are crazy expensive. I think they're like $500 to $700 new, around there, and it's not in the budget. This thing is a driver, everybody. It's not a pristine show car. And the more money I spend on things like brand new valve covers, the less money I have to put in gas and actually drive it. Next on the upgrade list is the blow-off valve. You can see it is a plastic one, and they're not exactly great for higher boost. So we have gone with the TurboSmart compact blow-off valve. This thing obviously is going to be better suited for our higher boost ratings. It is a direct fit, which is exactly what I like. Bolt on and go. Man, everything is so tight. I've buttoned up all the intercooler piping, the intake, and there are like millimeters in between the HKS intake and the Greddy piping. The Greddy piping does kind of like touch against the rad, so I've had to put like an extra piece of rubber against there. But it all works, and it's gonna make great noises, everybody. So I'm pumped on that. Last thing to do is I bought a brand new heat shield for that OEM plus look here. Look, the Artec manifold's going to get covered up here.
That's a sin,
but
Peter,
you know what? It's going to still look OEM plus. I'm kind of tempted, DP, to put the OE air filter back in here too.
Yeah,
you know, I was
box.
thinking about it. If we have time, we'll see. When we go to the dyno, if we have time, I may bring it and we may just swap it in to see if there's actually like a big difference from an intake like this to a stock airbox, because I'm curious myself to find that out. So if we have
and sound.
yeah, if we have time, we'll do that.
Oh, yeah.
And there it is, our radium fuel rail is in place. Nice bolt-on setup. Really love that they provide the plumbing kit. As you guys saw, it just converts the feed line to the Dash 6. For the return, I did stick with the OEM line, just put a barb into their fuel pressure regulator. And we are running the stock injectors. Now, these stock injectors may just be at their limit for the power level we're gonna make. So I've decided I am gonna stick with them. However, we do have some ID 1050s ready to go to drop in case we do run out of fuel. But because this is a pump gas car and it's an automatic transmission car, I don't think we will need the extra fueling, but who knows? Now, the one thing that I absolutely loathe about this injector install are these little clips that have to be put back on the actual injector clips. I guess these aren't clips, these are like little lock pins here, and the technique to put them in is a bit of a nightmare. So if you guys have any tips on how to do this, what I've found is I try to, you can't put them in like this. If you try to put them in like this, you can see they just go in on the sides like that. So what I found the best way to do this is kind of get it on the side here. So if I can actually get one side going, see like that, and then slowly bring it up, and then try to, you gotta do both sides, and then push it up and in, which seems super easy, but you can see it just starts slipping off. It's like a disaster. The way they design this, man. Your injectors will never fall off, but they also...
They can convert these to some Deutsch connectors.
I know, well, right? Thankfully those IDs won't use these, but see? Am I on? Oh yeah, I'm right there. Now I just need to, see how it's like that? All I have to do, pop this in, there. Okay, so now I can push that back on here. So That's the easy part, and there, it's locked in. Heaven forbid I have to take that off. The stock fuel pump isn't gonna provide the amount of fuel that we need for our power level, and the reason why I upgraded that fuel rail and with an adjustable regulator is if we're just at that limit, we can crank up the fuel pressure just a little bit to get a little bit of extra fuel if we're right at that, like, you know, running our injectors almost at max. So we do need to make a fuel pump upgrade, and this is the first time I have seen something like this in an EVO DP.
Yeah.
This is really interesting. It's a sound deadening map. Maybe this is just for wagons, but that's kind of neat.
Yeah.
And look at how mint it is behind here. Holy smokes, this looks like it just had like dry ice blasting done here.
Yeah,
wow, it is like super clean. I can tell you this much, there weren't kids in the back here because this would usually be covered with a bunch of Cheerios or dirt or debris.
Goldfish,
and that is not the case here. So that is a good sign for this car. And let's see what the fuel pump looks like here. It's been a while since I've done one of these, but if I remember correctly, you just pop these two little tabs off here, which then opens the bottom housing here. And then we should be able to pull the pump out. Oh, yeah. Hopefully not. Oh, you know, gas, lots of fluid. Unfortunately, the gas tank was as full as it could be. For a fuel pump, we are going with our go-to AM 340 liter per hour high flow pump. This is E85 compatible. Not that we will be getting there, people. Sadly, in this area where we are, we just do not have E85, so that's why you don't see us running it at all. And this pump will be a drop-in. We just have to transfer a few things. I really do love these AM pumps though. They're quiet, they're really reliable. They don't have a lot of failure rates, so they're certainly my go-to for any type of performance build. Look at this, everybody. Plug and play. Just snaps right into there. And then this will slide back in here. Just got to get it into that tube. Now, I had every intention of actually using the sock that AM provides here. However, I just noticed if you try to put this cover back on here, the sock is going to interfere. So we're going to have to use the OE sock and go back to that one. Not a huge deal. Ideally, if I would have known, I would have bought a new one, but the old one doesn't look all that terrible. And that's it right there. We can plop this on and we'll be ready to go. I really can't think of a simpler fuel pump install. EVOs, man. They're just so good. It's like Mitsubishi knew people were gonna be doing this and they made it super easy. So just a few bolts back in here and we are done with the fuel pump upgrade.
There you go, everyone. Fresh sump full of Valvoline's latest and greatest, Restore and Protect. This is a premium full synthetic that does exactly what the name implies. It'll actually clean all the carbon deposits off of your pistons and other critical engine internals to the point that it's like 100% clean again if you run this for a minimum of 4 oil changes. An industry first, actually, which I think is really cool. And as you saw, we also used Valvoline's Xerex coolant in the blue variety, which does say Honda on the front, but Mitsubishi on the back, everyone, so don't panic on that one. So this thing is fully sauced up and ready for a first, I guess we'll call it a first start.
Now, I don't remember if I actually need to push the brake pedal. On most North American cars, you do need to push the brake pedal to start this car, to start a car up, but on the Japanese ones, they don't seem to have that same safety feature. So let's see if this thing's gonna start here. And I know why it's not starting, everybody. It's got to build some fuel pressure. We're too low. We're only at 20 PSI here. So I got to increase that a little bit and then we can try again. Just adjust the knob up top. And let's see, let's try again. Ooh. It's getting there, it's getting there. What's our fuel pressure at? Still not 40. Let's go a little bit more. Let's get her up there. Gotta get it.
What's base pressure supposed to be, like 43 or something?
43, I think. I don't actually know, DP, but we'll get there. There we go. Mitsubishi running proper. Oh man, purring like a kitten.
It is.
Wow.
Like no valve train noise at all.
None. That's nice. Looks like everything is on there. Yeah, we're at that like 45-ish PSI, which is good. I mean, we don't want to run it for too long, but listen, first of all, let's give it a couple blips here. Let's see if this intake sounds any good. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Come to this side, DC. You ready for it?
Oh, there you go.
And now, listen to the exhaust system on this car. Man, so perfect. Look at this, at idle, barely any louder than stock. Just got this like low, deep tone. It's gonna be perfect. Let me give you guys a couple revs quick.
It sounds
Man,
great.
that sounds perfect. Just what the doctor ordered for like an OEM plus sound there. Last item of business is to kind of explain the battery situation. The JDM cars, as you can see, do come with smaller terminals, and in doing so, make it difficult to find the right battery for a right replacement battery in North America. And what I've done is I've gone to this excess power unit right here. This is a lithium battery, and you can see super light, and it has terminals that you can screw on. And these terminals are the smaller, I think they're JIS, exactly, JIS terminals. So we can make this work. However, it is actually, the other thing I should note here, you can see this battery is actually perfect because it clears our intake piping. Whereas the other battery, this guy here, if we try to drop it in, it's going to hit because as you can see, this needs to sit over. So this is actually a good victory for us right here. I do, however, not have a tie down. So the factory tie down is just too short because the battery is shorter. So I do have to just order up the proper one, but not a huge deal. And you can see the terminals here will fit up on these. Just gonna have to do a little bit of expanding, but we'll make that work. All right, guys, that is gonna be a wrap on this one. Thank you so much for watching. A lot of great content coming, so we'll see you in the next one.